They would not have gotten so far without being hard on themselves. But when things go awry, business and sports superstars dust themselves off and move on. Another thing that helps star performers love the pressure is their ability to switch their involvement in their endeavors on and off. A good way to do this is to have a secondary passion in life. Rower Alison Mowbray, for example, always set time aside to practice the piano despite her grueling athletic training schedule. Not only did she win a silver medal in the Olympics in 2004, but she also became an accomplished pianist in the process. For top executives, the adrenaline rush of the job can be so addictive that it's difficult to break away. But unless you are able to put the day behind you, as elite athletes can, you'll inevitably run the risk of burning out. Many leading business people are passionate about their hobbies. Richard Branson is famous for his hot air balloon adventures, for instance. However, even small diversions such as bridge or the opera can be remarkably powerful in helping executives tune out and re-energize. Fixate on the long term. Much of star athletes' ability to rebound from defeat comes from an intense focus on long-term goals and aspirations. At the same time, both sports stars and their coaches are keenly aware that the road to long-term success is paved with small achievements. The trick here is to meticulously plan short-term goals so that performance will peak at major rather than minor events. For athletes who participate in Olympic sports, for example, the training and preparation are geared to a 4-year cycle. However, these athletes may also be competing in world championships every year. The inevitable tension arising from this complicated timetable requires very careful management. Adrian Morehouse's Olympic gold medal success in 1988 is a case in point. His long-term goal was to swim the 100-meter breaststroke in a time of 62 seconds, because he and his coach had calculated 4 years in advance that this time should be good enough to win the gold. Of course, Adrian thought about winning in the interim, but all of his training and practice was geared toward hitting a time of 62 seconds or better in the Summer Olympics in Seoul. He mapped out specific short-term goals in every area that would affect his performance: strength training, nutrition, mental toughness, technique, and more, to make sure he achieved that ultimate goal. Successful executives often carefully plan out their path to a long-term goal too. I once coached a woman I'll call Deborah, an IT manager who worked for a low-budget airline. Her long-term goal was to become a senior executive in 3 years. To that end, we identified several performance areas in which she needed to excel. For example, increasing her reputation and influence among executives in other departments of the company and managing complex initiatives. We then identified short-term goals that underpinned achievements in each performance area, such as joining a company-wide task force and leading an international project. Together, we built a system that closely monitored whether Deborah was achieving the interim goals that would help her fulfill her long-term vision. It paid off. 2 months short of her 3-year target, Deborah was offered an opportunity to head up the $12 million in-flight business sales unit. Use the competition. It's common in track and field sports for 2 elite athletes from different countries to train together. I was at a pre-1996 Olympics training camp for the British team where 100-meter sprinter and then current Olympic champion Linford Christie had a guest train with him. His training partner just happened to be Namibian Frankie Fredericks, a silver medalist who had been one of the major threats to Christie's Olympic crown. World champion rower Tom Murray told me just how competing with the best inspired him to higher achievement. Murray was a part of a group of 40 rowers selected to train together with the hopes of gaining one of the 14 spots on the 1996 U.S. Olympic rowing team. Because the final team was chosen only 2 months before the Atlanta Games, this meant that the group of 40 trained together for almost 4 years. As Murray recalled, one of the last performance evaluations during the final week leading up to the naming of the Olympic team involved a 2,000-meter test on the rowing machine. The 40 athletes took it in 4 waves of 10. Murray went in the 3rd wave. During the first 2 waves, 15 rowers set personal best times, and 2 recorded times that were faster than anyone in the U.S. had ever gone. The benchmark was immediately raised. Murray realized that he needed to row faster.